it was very hot and Mr. Lin did not have air conditioners in his room. To cool his room, Mr. Lin decided to hang 3 big pieces of wet cloth and use 2 fans to cool his room as shown in the diagram below. Ready? Now what topic do you think this is? Heat and temperature. What else? Evaporation, right? Okay, so this is about evaporation. What affects evaporation? What affects evaporation? What, right? Okay, what is W? If you just say wind, you're wrong. Wind speed. How about H? We know that humidity we don't learn in primary school. Okay, but you do know that humidity is the amount of... What is humidity? Amount of water in the air. What is A? I've already explained this to you. Wait, Adi. Would you like to take that option that I'm giving you? Only next door. Area of exposed surface. What is T? Alright, so let's look. To test his setup, he closed the windows. What is Mr. Lin doing? Mr. Lin decided to hang 3 big pieces of wet cloth and use 2 fans to cool his room. Okay, that's what he wanted to find out. One more time. Okay, he wanted to cool his room by hanging 3 big pieces of wet cloth and 2 fans. This is what he wanted to find out. Very strange, Mr. Lin. Alright? Okay, ready? Shh. To test his setup, he closed the windows and switched on the fans. Close the windows and switch on the fan. Mr. Lin found that the temperature in his room decreased by 2 degrees Celsius. The temperature in his room decreased. Let me think. Now explain how each of the following allowed the temperature of the room to become lower. So he was successful in cooling his room simply by hanging 3 wet cloth and having the fan blow at it. Okay, I do not know whether this is a real experiment, okay, but somehow Mr. Lin managed to do it. Now, so explain how each of the following allowed the temperature of the room to become lower. How? What about what do you think the wet cloth? What do you think the wet cloth does?
It condenses.
Wet cloth condenses. For you to condense, you need to be a water vapor, right? Wet cloth is wet with water, so
Evaporate.
So when it evaporates, what happens? Sorry. So what happens when the water in the wet cloth evaporates? What must happen? Talk to me, don't talk to each other. What happens when, what must first happen before water evaporates? Very good, right? Yesterday we revised this, right?
Yeah, opposite of condensation.
It's the opposite of condensation. So whenever water evaporates, it must gain heat. Gain heat from where? Right, isn't it? Okay, so the water from the towel, from the cloth, right? The water from the cloth absorbs what?
The surrounding
Heat from the
air.
surrounding, not surrounding. Now, water from the cloth absorbs heat from the surrounding and evaporate. Yes or no?
Yes.
Isn't it? So when it absorbs the heat from the surrounding then the temperature in the surrounding cools down a bit, right? Water from the cloth absorbs heat from the surrounding to evaporate, right? Oops, what's happening?
I don't know, it's turning yellow.
To evaporate. Yes or no? Water from the cloth absorbs heat from the surrounding to evaporate, and therefore cooling the surrounding temperature. Yes or no?
Yes.
And therefore, what is happening? I don't understand. Water from the cloth absorbs heat from the surrounding to evaporate. Right? So when this happens, what happens when the water absorbs heat from the surrounding? The temperature of the surrounding air will decrease. Yes or no? Simple? Okay, next one. Fan. Explain how each of the following allowed the temperature of the room to become lower. What is the role of the fan?
The roll of the fan.
The wind increase the rate of evaporation. Okay, or help speed up evaporation of the water. Where? On the wet cloth. Simple? Easy? How many of you don't understand this? Maybe today I will try. I somehow doubt that this thing will work. Okay, but maybe I want to go home today and try. You really? Okay, Lucius have done this before. So it's Mr. Lin Lucius. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so Mr. Lucius have done this before.